blubby, this thing, so I hope you can. I'm very, very happy to be here. Let me try, yeah, this doesn't sound good. Is this better? One, two. Is this better? Yeah. I can stay here. Just want to say it's, I do a lot of stuff, as many of you know, and I speak to a lot of people. I speak to musicians, I speak to animal activists, I speak to astronomers, but the greatest pleasure is to speak to you guys, because I got to say, it's wonderful to be amongst you. You're all completely impassioned, you're all completely nuts, and, like I am, and everybody's here because they love it. You know, I think, you know, nobody's here and doing stereo because they want to make money or they want to be famous or they want power or whatever. Not even because of the prizes, I don't think. They're here because they love it and because they have to do it. And that's the way I am. So I would just like to say thank you, NSA people. I love you, and you should really give yourselves a round of applause. I'm not going to say very much because my voice isn't very good tonight, and also because the film will speak for me. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to what I've been doing and where I think it's leading. Last time I spoke to you guys was a couple of years ago with Elena Vidal, presenting our book, The Village Lost and Found. And you guys have been incredibly supportive to that project, which I thank you. We have a few left to sell tomorrow. So a little plug there if you want to get one. But Elena has moved on to other things and left a kind of gap in my life. But I was very fortunate to bump into an amazing Frenchman who is here tonight, called Denis Pellerin. And also, he's an incredible scholar and has really already changed my life. And a wonderful lady who also is very well known to you, I know, called Paula Fleming. And we have formed a team, and we've been working incredibly hard to try and make what, in a sense, is the follow-up to The Village Lost and Found in some ways, but in some ways it's very different territory, and it's the what we hope is the definitive work on diableries. Yeah. So we hope to be with you next year to do a proper speech and a proper presentation of that. Just want to mention one thing. One of the things that I love about this community is that we share knowledge and we share expertise. And I would like to ask you a favor in that direction, because we have, you'll notice on our little stall in the marketplace over there, we have a poster which really gives the state of knowledge that we have at this present time of the whole diablerie scenario. There are a couple of gaps, and I would love you guys to check your diableries if you have any. And if anybody has a card which can fill one of those two gaps, we would be thrilled, and we will richly reward you. Because that would be great if we could fill those two gaps in before we actually publish the book. So come around, please, and just have a look and see if there's anything that can be done. I'm not going to say a lot more because, as I say, the film will do it. But I would like to just mention one unsung hero. He's a man called Darren Bender. He couldn't be here tonight, but he's a filmmaker, an independent film director from England, and really it was his idea to make this little film. He came to me and he said, "We think you're the guy to present the definitive history of stereo photography for a TV channel in England which is called Sky 3D TV. It's the only 3D channel we have in England, so you'll be watching it and you'll see a bit of sport, a bit of drama, the occasional film which they've dredged up from someplace and fiddled around with. So we made this really for Sky TV. He's the guy who sold the idea to them, and he sold the idea to me. And I was a little bit resistant to the idea of it being called Brian May's History, but I kind of gave in the end because they used me as a thread, which worked quite well. We had some amusing times, and I got to meet some great people. I got to sit down with James Cameron for about 3 hours, and I wish I could show you all the conversation because it was amazing. amazing. I got to sit down with David Attenborough, who's a great English naturalist as well as a 3D filmmaker. I got to spend the day at Pixar, so I just felt incredibly lucky and privileged to be able to talk to these people. The problem, of course, is cutting it down. This is only a short film. You know, it's intended for an hour on TV in England. So it was really painful to have to take the stuff out. So I'm hoping one day we can make the long version. But I hope you will enjoy this. I'm going to make a little, Ray's told me not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to make a little apology because it's kind of work in progress. And it was a learning experience for me, and it still is a learning curve. We had the interesting job of taking a lot of classic pictures and trying to put them in the most modern medium. And you will see in the film, a lot of mistakes have been made in stereo, particularly in stereo films. Now, a lot of people got headaches and got put off. You know, you talk about the 60s particularly, perhaps, with things coming at you the whole time and giving you a headache. Sky 3D in England is so conscious of this that they hardly want any 3D at all. So once you've made your film and you've tried to convert the classic images into something which works on TV, you then have to get it past their engineers, which is kind of like getting a camel through the eye of a needle, if you get my drift. So there's a lot of compromise. The things they hate are things like retinal rivalry. Now, all of us who look at classical images live with retinal rivalry the whole time, but we kind of enjoy it. It's part of the atmosphere of the pictures. Sky TV don't like that, so they immediately went through all our film and took it all out. So the images all started to look very sterile. They also took out most of the depth, which, as I say, you know, starts to defeat the object of the exercise. So what you see is a compromise and a kind of work in progress. Also, you will see me as the link man. Now, I have never done this before. You know, I can play guitar a bit. I can. I can walk around and I can talk a bit. What I hate is walking and talking at the same time. And that's what these guys always want you to do. If you're the link man, you have to go, and of course, you're with that. I ended up swearing at the guy the whole time. So you'll see me do it. You can see the pain in my face. But it was a great experience, and I hope, you know, it's going to be very incomplete. All you people who are in particular parts of this scenario, like the Viewmaster, Vista Screen, etc., will not see much of that. You know, it's a history which really starts in 1840 or so with Charles Wheatstone and skips pretty quickly into modern 3D filmmaking. There are lots of images in here which I've spent months restoring, and you will see them for about a second and a half. So the ideal thing with this film really would be to get a copy of it on Blu-ray if we were to get that far, and pause it so you can see all the images, because there are some really nice ones. Okay, that's enough apologizing. I would just like to say I hope you enjoy the movie. We are going to stand up here later, Rayzone, my hero, Rayzone, and I are going to stand up here and do something afterwards. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be, but enjoy. Thank you very much.